The Mexican people are fighting back, and they are fighting back hard. They are sticking to their guns, saying, "Hey, look, if you don't fix this cartel problem, we're gonna make things very uncomfortable." And the president, Claudia Sheinbaum, I don't know, she better start making some moves because they are not playing this time around. Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your host, Rich GNT, and we're here to talk about they are having a blockade in Mexico right now that's stopping international shipments of like farming goods. And the reason why is because the people in Mexico are tired. They say, hey, look, we need more things to protect us from these cartels. And until you deliver on that, no one's going to get what they want. So let's jump into the video.
Much disruptions in Mexico are blocking a lot of the fresh fruit and vegetables that brighten up winter tables this holiday season.
As our KGUN9's Craig Smith reports from Nogales, Thanksgiving food supplies may be unaffected, but shortages could hit about the time you finish the holiday leftovers.
Normally, this produce supply warehouse in Nogales is full of fruits and vegetables headed for your grocery store and for your dinner table. But now supplies are getting thin, and there's not much prospect of new product because of what Mexican truckers are doing in Mexico. There's not much produce to move at Chamberlain Distributing in Nogales. 32 trucks were due there Monday. 3 showed up. Truckers in Mexico have been blocking roads to the ports. They want the Mexican government to give them better protection from cartels that hijack cargo or force truckers to smuggle drug loads. Jaime Chamberlain says the blockade is putting a serious hit on his business, but he feels the truckers really do need help.
And it's not just affecting fresh fruits and vegetables, it's affecting the mining industry, it's affecting the manufacturing industry. There are dozens and dozens of loads stolen all the time. And the Mexican government just doesn't seem to bring it to the forefront of importance in the way that it should be.
Chamberlain says Mexican farmers have joined in the protest over water issues and the prices they get for their crops. He says the blockade should not affect Thanksgiving because most stores already have those deliveries, but shortages could show up soon after that.
So it seems like the Mexicans are saying, hey, look, you made promises to fight the cartels. We don't mind having you in and everything like that, but you need to deliver on these promises because it's been, I think it's going to come up on 2 years that she's been in so far, and they're not seeing any progress. The last thing they want is to have the same song and dance to where the government promises these things, especially when it comes to cartels, and they're not delivering on them. The Mexican people are tired, and rightfully so, because they've been having cartel issues for who knows how long. And I'm gonna keep my voice down a little bit because I don't need nobody finding me, but they've been having these issues. And look, it sucks, but sometimes things just have to happen. I don't mind protesting like this because this is affecting not just them in the day-to-day, this is affecting the economy. Because if they're stopping truckers when it comes to shipping over like internationally, right? And they're making them smuggle and or they're stealing shit from them, that's affecting everyone in Mexico and is affecting internationally as well. And for the most part, it's affecting the image of Mexicans and Mexico as well, because that doesn't make them look good. It makes it seem like they're just importing a whole lot of drugs when it's not really them, it's the cartels within them that are doing that.
On the Mexican side of the border, Gabriel Cabrera helps companies meet all the legal requirements to get cargoes through customs and into the U.S. He's hoping the truckers, the farmers, and the Mexican government can reach an agreement and get things moving again.
The Mexican authorities have made it clear that they are willing and able to accept and negotiate with them. So we are hoping that those negotiations happen soon, so we can, pass these demonstrations that are affecting Mexico currently.
But until truckers agree to get rolling, the road from Mexican growers to your table will be blocked. In Nogales, Craig Smith.
I don't blame them because they're tired of the same old story and they want something different, and you promise something different, so you gotta deliver. So it's 2 years, coming up on 2 years now. Something has to change. But we're going to change gears and go into a different video where it kind of delves into that a little bit more when it comes to what's actually going on. Because just like what you saw and what I've been hearing, they're not blocking everything. They're still letting some traffic pass through.
I'd like to, I guess, just kind of bring us up to date. What's happening in Mexico City? We kind of spelled out what workers want, but this didn't happen overnight. This had to build up and I guess exploded into this kind of mass demonstration.
Well, the situation living in Mexico City again is that today these protests have been in 36 points and highways all over Mexico, very strongly around Mexico City and in 14 states all over Mexico, no? So it has not been only in Mexico and around Mexico City, but also in other places. And as it looks like, there have been some dialogues with the federal government, but these protests will take some additional time. At least we have been informed, at least one more day. This is tomorrow.
Enrique, it seems like it is pretty well coordinated if you have the transportation workers as well as the farmers. Let's talk about the potential outcome of these demonstrations. It could influence food supply chains, not just in Mexico, but for international markets that rely on Mexican agricultural exports.
Well, the pressure for the federal government is enormous. No, you have to imagine that yes, good parts of Mexico City have been blocked, but these blockades have been relatively tolerant, which means it has not been 100% blocked, but they have allowed for passing trucks and cars very slowly, no? But this could, if this continues, as you mentioned, this could very strongly affect Mexico City and international markets.
You know, when they do it like that, it's actually pretty smart because when you have 100% blockade, that kind of, and I could be off, limits the time frame and how long you can sustain it. But when it's like, you know, 75%, maybe even 50%, that kind of extends the longevity of it because you're not being totally just, you know, hard-headed with it. You're like, no, we're going to let some pass. But until we see some change, it's not going to be as much as you need. Which, like I said, pretty smart. And yeah, my question is for those who either have connections in Mexico and or are in Mexico right now, can you explain to me the issue is that is she, your president, and your government, are they not combating cartels enough? Or are they not combating them at all? Or is it just seem like the same old, same old? Like, let me know in the comments below because I'm trying to understand it a little bit more.
I find it interesting that the demonstrators say they want more government support for these important sectors like agriculture, because that does mean so much to Mexico's bottom line. So does this signal an unhappiness with the way the trade deal between Canada, Mexico, and the United States, the USMCA, has spelled out? And what do you think it means for the future of that agreement, because they're trying to hammer out a new pact right now?
The general request from particularly from farm workers is to have a federal strategy vis-a-vis the agricultural sector in Mexico that includes several of the issues you mentioned, and including also more security in Mexico's transportation. And so additional institutions have participated in these protests. No, the situation can get, if this continues throughout the week or even longer, can have enormous repercussions all over Mexico, including in Mexico City. And yes, one of the requests of these farm institutions is that Mexico has become one of the main world importers, particularly imports of grain from the United States, which is highly subsidized. No,
Yeah.
So Mexico is importing huge quantities and volume of grains, different types of products within the agricultural sector, and this is affecting the agricultural sector in Mexico today.
You know, it's got to be brutal for the relatively newly elected president, Claudia Sheinbaum. She has to deal with the Trump tariffs, the cartels, and the trouble that they bring daily to Mexico, and now this exploding difficulty. So how is the Sheinbaum government responding to these protests?
Well, her main motto in the last since she began has been to have a dialogue. She has attempted, I believe, successfully to have a dialogue with the Trump administration, with lots of different groups within Mexico. There has been already dialogues with farm workers in the last weeks. It was again highlighted to have dialogues today. Apparently, the farm institutions will accept this dialogue tomorrow. So this is the main motto of Claudia Sheinbaum, and I believe it's the only way to deal with these domestic, international, and global issues that will come up not only 2025, but also next year in the negotiations regarding the USMCA.
You know, Enrique, here on Global Business, we did a.
That's all I really want to touch on. Yeah, no, this is very interesting because I mean, like I asked, I just want to know if there's no talks at all, or is it just like the same old, because she ran on that. People want to keep it to that, and I haven't really heard much news outside of Mexico before, but seemingly this is making a lot of waves because I don't know what's going on, but they're not having it. They said they want changes now. And this is a few days old, so seemingly there have been some talks and some negotiations, and some blockades have ended, but for the most part, it seemingly is still going on. So I just want to do this just to keep you guys informed, to just see what's going on, because like I said, I want to pay attention more to our neighbors to the north and south. So definitely going to be doing that. But yeah, that's really all I can say for now. Well, you guys already know the drill. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about what's going on, and when it comes to the Mexican people keeping their president in check, in the sense of the minute they don't like something, they protest it and they advocate for it, saying, hey, look, we need changes now. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about that. That's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.